Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode in DIY Investing Education. Let's continue with some of the popular indexes, stock indexes all around the world. And this is the first one outside of Canada and the US. We covered 3 in the US, 1 in Canada. So what if you want exposure to an index that gives you access to more developed international companies, things in Europe or Japan and Australia? Well, one of the most popular, if not the most popular index that captures exposure to some of the best stocks in developed countries outside of North America is the MSCI EAFE index. So the EAFE stands for Europe, Australia, or also Australasia, which includes Australia, New Zealand, Far East, right, which are countries like Japan, for example. So like it says here, this is an equity index which captures large and mid-cap representation across developed market countries around the world, excluding US and Canada. So if we scroll down and look at the composition, if we look at the sector weights, I apologize, it's a bit small. You see that you have diversification across many sectors. Financials, industrials, and healthcare are the top 3. But you also have consumer discretionary, consumer staples, technology, materials, etc., etc. And you see here some country weights. Japan is a big chunk at 22.3, and you have the big 4 economies in Europe: UK, France, Germany, Switzerland. But there's many, many more countries as well, like Sweden, Finland, Australia. They're just a little bit smaller. These are the top ones. So in terms of ETFs that track this index, you have Global X has 4 of them. Let's review them together. So you have EAFX, the Global X, MSCI, EAFE Index ETF. So this is your classic index ETF that just tracks or tries to replicate and follow that index. And you could, look at everything about it here. Management fee, MER. But if we look at the holdings, you'll see very similar sector allocation like we saw earlier. And you see, other 33%, that would be Australia and Sweden and a bunch of other countries. But you have the biggest chunk in Japan and the 4 big economies in Europe. So this is really going to give you access to some of the best and biggest stocks with diversification outside of North America, right? If you look at the top 10 holdings, you'll probably recognize a few of the companies. Like I certainly recognize Shell and AstraZeneca, SAP, Roche, right, Novartis. So you got some big pharmaceutical companies there. Energy, of course, HSBC, right? Nestle, right, your consumer stocks. So you're basically getting a lot of stocks outside of North America, but in developed nations. So you got your classic index option with EAFX from Global X Canada, which means you're buying and selling it in Canadian dollars. But they also have EAFX.U if ever you want to buy it and sell it in USD currency. They also have EAFL. So just like their other ones, right? They have an enhanced or 25% leverage version. So this is the Global X Enhanced MSCI EAFE Index ETF. And like you probably guessed, it basically holds this ETF here, just the regular one with 25% leverage. So once again, if the performance is really well, for example, if we look at the classic index one, you have in the last year, as of September 30th, 2025, you have a total return of 18.30, but the enhanced one has 21.77. So obviously you have enhanced potential return over time when you're getting the enhanced version. If you're an income covered call investor like myself, they got you covered as well with EACC. This is the Global X MSCI EAFE covered call ETF. So tracks the same index, but they're writing a covered call overlay to get you enhanced distributions, enhanced yield as well. You see that the annual distribution yield as of October 10th is 7.54%. And it's going to hold basically the first ETF, just that they're writing covered calls on it. And you probably already guessed they also have an enhanced version or a 25% leverage version of the covered call ETF. EACL is the stock symbol. So this is going to give you potentially enhanced returns over time, 25% leverage means 25% more risk and volatility, but you're going to have a higher yield, for example, than the one without the leverage, right? And if we look at the performance real quick for these ones, you have 1 year at 1468 for the regular cover call one, and then the enhanced one you have a little bit higher at 16.35. So there you go, everyone. The MSCI EAFE index, very popular index to get you access to some of the best stocks out in developed countries, developed economies outside North America. Last but not least, we have the emerging markets, right? Things like Brazil and South Korea and China. Is there a popular index that gives you access to those economies? The answer is yes. We're going to take a look in the next episode. See you then.